You were sitting in your house, in your royal throne, your dining room with your family. And a certain ani came to ask you something. He used to be a balabais, he had money. And he came to He said, please, I'm asking, I need money to start a business. My business fell apart. I need to raise $20,000. I'll give you a mashkin, a collateral. You answered him immediately. I'm not interested now in lending money to you. And he left broken from you.
EF means it's not possible.
No, EF shar is not possible. EF shar, I'm not interested. EF shar lahalves lach. V'loy samte alibcha.
Not EF shar.
I told. V'loy samte alibcha, says the Chavetz Chaim from the Svarim. You didn't pay attention. You didn't think. You didn't analyze. You didn't probe. This person thought was Messiahitz. He took counsel with his wife for many days. Should he go or should he not go? Because he was so embarrassed. And he was embarrassed to go by day, so he came by at night. And he also thought, which mashkin should he offer that you're going to perhaps say yes? He was thinking and contemplating the exact hour you should come. That'll be the right time, that you'll have time, and you'll hopefully be positive. And you, without thought, says the Chavetz Chaim from the Svarim. And then his heart was broken like a broken shard of pottery. He went home embarrassed. Before he came home, says the Chavetz Chaim from the Svarim, his his whole family was waiting. Maybe our father will come back with some hope. When he came back from you, this rich person that's in Shemaim, when he came back from you with empty-handed, Yashvu kulam livkois, they all started crying, and they said, Ma'ya charisenu, what will be our end? Ma'ya soifenu, halinigva barav kulan, we're all going to be in bitter hunger. Through their crying, also oz lamorim went up to Shemaim. Nizgaber oz koyach hadin Allah olam ma'od. Besides what happened to them, there was a midas hadin on the world, because such a terrible thing happened that causes din. The soif davar haya, they didn't give him money to start a business, to have a life. The family went down and down. The weak ones became sick, and the rest of the household went begging for bread. And now, Hashem is going to say, stand up in judgment. Recognize your maisim. Look what you caused with your lack of compassion on these sad, despondent, bitter people. How much pain you caused Hashem, so to speak. When you caused them to cry so bitterly. The common is how much din happened down here, how much bad things happen in the world. The common gzeira is nizbav. We all know you do mitzvahs, good things happen, various bad things happen. You cause so much bad in the world. Shema, they're going to say, no room for compassion on you. Here's the question of everything. This poor rich person sat by his table. He was having supper, a 5-course meal. That's where his mindset was. That was his headspace. A poor person came, he opened the door, he saw the guy. He asked, can I borrow money? Where he's coming from, the rich person, he has no idea what this guy's going through. He sees a poor person at the door, nicely dressed, because he's trying to make a good impression. He wants to borrow money. He asked to borrow money. He just explained that my business went downhill. He didn't say all these sob stories. He didn't get in the door. And he just wasn't interested. Maybe he had heartburn from his geschmack meal. He said, no, I'm not looking to do that. And we're holding him accountable on the highest level as if it was mamash amazed. He wasn't amazed. He wasn't looking. Undoubtedly, if you would have told him this sob story, if you would have heard everything, he'd have compassion. He'd have rachmanis. If he heard all that story, he chapped for days what he's trying to do, etc. And what's going to happen after that, which it wouldn't have rachmanis. And yet he's held accountable, mamash, as if he knew all that. and he's being mamish mond in shamayim for such din. What's the pshat? It's not a story. It's not a joke. Chavis Chaim is bringing us for Magdaishim. This takes place. This takes place in Shemayim. People that have money, and it's not just money, we'll see soon. People have an ability to help people, and people come to ask, and maybe we'll see soon even if they don't ask. And we're not helpful, we're held accountable, but we don't know what they're going through. I have no idea. You see a guy in shul, what do you know? This is the question. It's a very biting question. And it's a question that really hits at the core, in a sense, what it means to be a Yid. When we answer this question, it really will define what it means to be a Yid. In Pashto Mishpatim, the pasuk says, "In kesef talves ami es ha'ani imach lo'isia lo'kenoisha lo'sisimon ol neshach." First of all, it's very interesting. If you think about it, anyone that's in the business of lending money sometimes or not lending money sometimes, the mitzvah to lend money is one of the biggest chidushim perhaps in the Torah. Those that are involved in investing money and have money, you're really telling a person to give money. Yeah, it's as if you're lending. Money. So you're giving money. I'll tell you why. I'm saying very simple, without even getting complicated. Now the interest rates are a shtickle higher, 4 or 5%. What are the rates? So on $100,000, without batting an eyelash, you're making $5,000 a year, without even thinking, without any major investments, without any risk. $5,000 a year. So you ask someone to lend $10,000, so he's losing $500 a year. That's what he's losing, without even his grandiose ideas of making 20%. You know, people have, who knows what hasagas, and he's going to mamish. People are even more risky and they want to make 30, 40%. Who knows what they want to buy buildings and renovate, whatever it is. And they can't do it. Their money is lying fallow. By the way, it's not a new idea. The mission in Makkos Daf Gimel in Mefurish is actually a money value to lending money. You know that? It's a mission in Makkos when Edom come and they say that a person has to pay up in 30 days. Really, he borrowed money, he had to pay in 10 years. So they were trying to make him lose money that he'll have to pay up in a month. Really, he has to pay up in 10 years. He borrowed money, but he has 10 years to pay back. The mission says he has to pay. The Edom Zoyman have to pay that amount that it's worth. That means there's actually a money value to that. That means the Torah recognizes there's a money value to borrowing money. So much so that Edom Zoyman have to pay Tasha Zamam that value. There's a value. So what's that going to pshat is chiv to lend money? It's a very big chiddush chiv to lend money. There's no chiv to, and we're not talking necessarily tzedakah. We're saying a person needs money, have to lend the money. What's the nature of that mitzvah?
So why is it not considered in the realm of tzedakah? Tzedakah, you're also, I should give you $100. I could invest that.
The mitzvah alva is not only a person that mamash has no money to live on for food or whatever else. Person that's tzarech for alva, you have to give him alva. Even it's not mamash tzedakah l'lechem. It's more encompassing than just tzedakah.
Risk the $100,000, you might not get it back. $100
So the emes is not so pasha, because if you can't ask for a mashkin, if you really have a real chashash, you're not getting it back, you're not mechoyev pashas to lend. But let me just get to the nukud over here I want to get to. The Rashi, let's say a Rashi. Rashi says, Es ha'ani imoch. Have you mestakel ba'atzmacha ki'ilu ata'ani. Have you mestakel ba'atzmacha ki'ilu ata'ani. I want to tell you a story. There was once soldiers that came back from the battlefront, and they lost the battle, and there were only 2 soldiers of that group that survived. And one of the soldiers gathered up quickly all the ammunition, because if you don't gather ammunition, the enemies will take all the ammunition. It's about 50 pounds of ammunition in the blazing sun, and he's carrying it back to their base, which is about a 2-mile walk in the fierce sun. And the other guy, the second guy that was with him, walked alongside with him. He's carrying 50 pounds of ammunition, artillery, so it shouldn't be taken by the enemies. And the other guy's walking aside, and it's very hot. They're both very thirsty. This guy is carrying all artillery. He's mamish platzing. They finally make it to the base, and they kamat chalish, and they bring out tons of water. The guy that didn't carry any guns had an edge. He was able to grab the water first. He grabbed all the water, drank the whole thing down. Mice is platzing he was just talking very hot outside. By the time they got a second thing of water, the other guy died. So they court-martialed the first guy, and they said to him, "Could you grab all the water for yourself?" And your comrade died. So he said, "What do you want from me? I was thirsty." He said, "But do you understand that he was carrying 50 pounds of guns and artillery? He was much worse off. He was mamish. He died. He was going out. Had no koyach left." He said, what do you want from me? How should I understand what it feels like carrying such artillery? I wasn't carrying such guns. So said, that's a teretz. That's a teretz. You dug your own grave. When the person says to Rabbi Shalom, what do you want? I don't know what it feels like. I'm a gvir. I'm sitting at the table. Look at this. I have gold spoons and forks. Everyone's sitting around Geshmak. I don't know what he's going through. So why don't you know what he's going through? The Torah is mechayev and metzaveyu, have a mistakel ba'atzmacha ki'ilu ata'ani. Imagine you're the poor person. I'm not the poor person. Yeah. But the Torah says your brother's poor before you discuss giving him money. Have a mistakel ba'atzmacha ki'ilu ata'ani. That is the taina. Why are you letting him carry the 50 pounds of ammunition and not helping him? Why are you not being nice, say, boy, that's a teretz. The teretz is you don't know what it feels like. You're the same guy that told you that didn't help his friend and didn't know what it felt like. Say, let him die, didn't drink any water. That's what they're telling us. And a mistakel ba'atzmacha ki'ilu ata'ani means you should understand, you should feel like you're that person. That's a time. That's the Svarim HaKadoshim. And that's why Hashem could, yes, have a taina. HaKadosh Baruch Hu's taina on the person is, you should have stepped out of yourself and saw the person at the door and says, 1 second, what does it feel like in this situation? What is he going through? And then you might imagine he had money, now he doesn't have money. Probably in his house, they're falling apart. Probably his kids are broken. Probably his kids cannot wear the same clothing they used to wear. It must be mamash like tzibrochen and embarrassing their friends. It's not hard to make the computations. You got to try to do it. You got to try to imagine it. Come out of yourself. There was once a Rebbe man was nifter, a geld sailor that salon. If you remember, it was like 20 years ago. Blaze a geld sailor. When I was a kid, it was a Rebbe of mine. So he had a terrible car crash in Eretz Yisrael. A bus. So in the Shiva house, one of his sons had a very hard time. He's like, I don't know, 12-year-old boy, something like that. What? It's 20 years. Yeah, 20 years.
Father, this is the son.
I'm from Queens. I'm from Queens boy.
He himself, lazy guts.
He used to come on Fridays to give shir to the to 8th grade he gave shir in Kilim. His father's Shiva, yeah, that's how it was. So his son was having a very, very hard time during the Shiva house. Anyways, someone walked into the Shiva house, and at the time that he walked in, the other one was platzt laughing. There was uproarious laughing in the Shiva house, which is totally uncharacteristic of what's going on in the house there. So he asked, what just happened? He said, some Rebbitzin, she called up the house. She heard this boy's having a very hard time. And she said, I want to speak to the boy. Okay. So the boy takes the phone. And she says to the boy, Mazel Tov. Like shocked silence. And she says to the boy, you used to have a father, a basar Adam. Hashem is Avi Yisraimim. Now Hashem is your father. Mazel Tov. This is what she said. So the boy said to her back, SIMCHOS ba'af.
That's funny.
So then Pot's laughing.
Oh, that's good.
What's Pshat in the story by saying? This Isha, she wasn't wrong. She wasn't wrong in a sense. Hashem is Avi Yisraim. It's a pasuk. And I'll tell you even more. There's a tzad after a certain amount of time when the boy comes out of his grief, a good friend could talk to him and amongst a lot of padding could bring in the concept of having Hashem Avi Yisraim. Amongst a lot of other things with showing him how much he understands his pain and what he's going through and put in the idea. But this, Isha Chacham, was just a lamdin. She knew a pasuk. It's a great fix. Right? He lost a father. Hashem's your father. If you would be nice to you understand what he's going through, not just zapping him with a pasuk and a chazal. There's no shaykhis. What are you doing? He's not able to hear such a thing and stop such raw pain, just shoot at him such a concept. You're nuts. But the pshat was she came with a chazal. She has the chazal. She has the pasuk. Mathematics. We're not mathematical people. A person's not mathematics. A person has feelings. A person's going through, who knows what he's going through? Tremendous amounts. Takes so much time to understand, to try to figure out what the person is going through. And that's the mitzvah. And that is the chiyuv. We walk around, there are people that sit on our bench that have all types of tzoros, all types of simchos, Who knows what it feels like? One person, Rahman al-San, his spouse is sick. One person, Shalom Bayis spouse. One person has a kid now, it's struggling in Yiddishkeit. Person has terrible parnasa. Person's not married. Person has no kids. It goes on. The list goes on. And at times we might know about it, but he doesn't show it. When he's sitting in shul, he's holding his cards close to home. He's not showing his pain, but he's going through it. He's going through it.
Is there chiyuv on the ani to understand what the usher is going through?
It's a good question.
Source he has the stock is this. Yeah, whatever. The usher is also going through something. It's not a one way.
If the usher would need something, here's the next point. The next point is not only in money time, not only money. When the usher comes to ask the ani for advice and shalom bayis, the ani should have to think what he's going through. But the ashirs don't come to ask for help. It's a passeinish. They suffer in silence. Kiyadua. Kiyadua, they suffer in silence.
The usher is always showing bias.
No.
No, but
No.
he's saying is
I just couldn't pick any. I picked something else. I picked anything, It could be gesund, gesund or children, all those types of things. Whatever other
they
eight
have something. Everyone
has a peckle. Everyone has a peckle. Everyone has a peckle.
You wake up in the morning without a pit in your stomach, you have to check your pulse.
Who says that?
I want to tell you a hafraza of this. Is an amazing thing I saw from the Alter of Kelm. I actually heard this over before I saw it. From Matzio Solomon. He says the end of Mishpatim, the pasuk describes in a very interesting psukim, very hard to understand the pasuk pshat, but there's actually the pasuk says that the Moshe Aaron Avihu in the 70s, the Canaan, went up to the Har, Vayiru es Elikei Yisrael, whatever that means, Kiviyachol, the Tachas Raglov Kemase Livnas Hasapir, Uke'etzem Hashemayim Latoyar. Under Hashem's Raglov, Kiviyachol, there were two things. There was a levena of sapir, but a levena, a brick, and there was etzem hashemayim latoyar. Explains Rashi. What was this brick? He ha'itzelafon of b'shas hashibud. This brick was in front of Hashem, b'shas hashibud. Lizkar tzaras and shal Yisrael, so to speak, that Hashem should remember is have in front of him the tzara of Yisrael, Klal Yisrael. Shayum mishubadim b'ma'isa levenim. They had to work so hard making bricks. Hashem had a brick in front of him during the Kaishi Mitzrayim to remind him, so to speak, of Klal Yisrael's tzar. What's etzem hashemayim l'toyar? Mishe nigalu haya or v'chedva lefanov. Now they had a geula. After the geula, there was or v'chedva. Etzem hashemayim l'toyar is a mashal, is what's showing a tremendous light and simcha that Hashem had. So the Alter says, of course, Hashem didn't need anything to remind him, but Hashem did it to show us that if you want to be nice oil with someone, not enough to just know about a person's pain. You should actually do something, have it in front of you to remind you. Remind you. It's amazing. Your friend's going through some hard times. Actually, it'll be a mitzvah. You have a picture on your phone, a picture on you. Look at the picture once in a while. Remind you the person. You see his face, you remember his pain. Hashem made a brick. Hashem didn't need any bricks to show us what we should be doing. We should do something to have in front of us. We all know this, out of sight, out of mind. We all know we hear a poor person's pain or a friend's pain, it hurts us. The next day we don't see him. We don't think about it, at least too much. Says the Alter of Kelm, Hashem is showing us to do something, mamashistic, to remind us. That's number one. But then he says, number two, an amazing thing. He says, why is the brick still there? Why is the brick still there? It happened. They're gone. Baruch Hashem. Nigalu. So now when they see under Hashem's feet, Kaviyachol, they should only see Etzem Hashemayim L'toyar. They're seeing in front of Kadosh Baruch Hu, they're seeing what? A Levena. Because B'shas Shibud, Hashem had a Levena in front of him to remind him of the Tzar of Klal Yisrael. But now the Nigalu, no more Tzar. They're just excited. So you should only have the Etzem Hashemayim L'toyar, which is Or V'chedzel L'fanov. As a fact, the Alter. Zok the Alter. You cannot begin to compare the simcha of a person that's redeemed for a simcha of a person that went through Gehenim and now is mamish begeula. If you want to be nice oil in the simcha and feel a person's simcha, it's Eina Daima Klal Klal. When the Rebbeinu Shalom is being mishtatef now in the simcha of Klal Yisrael, the Levena has to be there. And Matzio Salman said this over, and he said a very beautiful tzushtel. He said in his days, probably I imagine your times also, not dating you, being so old, but probably when you were younger, in people would get up by a chasana still, and they would start crying. People, Auschwitz survivors, Bergen-Belsen, they would start crying about when they were in Auschwitz, they couldn't imagine making it through another day. The thought of marrying off kids or grandchildren was beyond their wildest imaginations. And they would talk about it by weddings, and they would cry. So this was a common occurrence in those generations. And he said the younger poor folk, the younger chavra, would always like start shushking to each other. What's he spoiling the wedding? Was retten wegen Auschwitz? Why is it's not a base oval? Why is he getting up and bringing in Auschwitz? And the younger chavra was always like, what's going on over here? Genug wegen Auschwitz. Baruch Hashem, he had a chasana. And he said the pshat is because they were not nice to oil. They had no idea what's going on right now. He's not talking about Auschwitz. He's being besimcha right now. The only way he can express his level of simcha and marrying off a kid is I'm not just marrying off a kid. Do you have what I'm doing? I'm marrying off a kid that I didn't think in a million years I would ever have a kid. That's the kid I'm marrying off. I'm marrying off a kid who's from starting a bias, Naman after I had a bias. I didn't think I would live to tomorrow 30 years ago. That's the simcha I'm going through. And when he would start crying, it was a surge of simcha. That simcha you can't express by just getting up and dancing, just saying, look, I'm marrying a kid off. He has to start in Auschwitz. That's why it's such a simcha. That's what Mitzvah Salman tells to this altar of Kel. That's all in this sugya. The sugya of noise ba'oil. It's a sugya aruk, but it's mamash the yesod of a yid. The yesod of a yid is the feeling of another yid. Not just helping, giving. That's all mitzvahs, gewaldige mitzvahs. I start with the kasha of why is mitzvah of halva without ribis. The Radak says it's mitzvah of chesed. The way I explain it, if your brother needs money, so you're not going to necessarily give him your house or car, but you're not going to take ribis from your brother. It's understandable. You lend somebody money. That's just people that are brothers. Even by the goyim lahavlo. That's the concept. That's what you do to a brother. So the shorish of chesed is machayiv you when you love your brother. Love every yid to lend him money without ribis. That's the Radak explains the issue of ribis. But it's much, much more when it comes to nice oil. Nice oil means trying to really figure out, understand the other person's plight. It's my office was just telling me this is a very common thing. You have girls that are not married, older girls. In this door, it's a tremendous sign and difficulty. But you have 20-year-old girls that are all not married and they're best friends, and a year and a half later, you have some that are married with a kid, and some that are still not married. And now they're in different worlds. Someone will give a speech to the married girls, the speech the married was supposed to watch and hear, about the insensitivities, and I have to try to be sensitive in conversations with the single girls. These are your best friends, but now your whole world revolves around your husband and your child, and they don't have that. So to us, it's pashut, obviously, but Lamaisa, when a person's in his own world, that's what he lives. She's living her world. She's making supper and she's complaining about the laundry, and the other girl she's talking to wishes she could be doing laundry and making supper. That's a mitzias. So why are they so insensitive? It's natural. The natural thing is you live in your own world, but we have to be unnatural. Unnatural, and we have to change our nature and try to live in the other person's world. We're constantly dealing with our brothers, our friends, our cousins, Klal Yisrael. We have to try to understand the other person for real. It's an avodah kasha, and it's like you were saying. It's not just for poor people; it's for anybody. People can be rich to have much more tzaras than poor people. They tend to hold it closer to home, closer sometimes because they feel maybe mavoyish. But if you know a person's going through, and it doesn't always mean you could go to the person because he might be embarrassed. Daven for the person, for him. Let's suppose daven for a person. Give him nachas, give him simcha, give him parnasa, give him gezon. Please, a yid. Yes, talk to him.
So you yaitz the mitzvah, noise all whatever category that is, just by empathizing with that other person, without even doing so, without even going over to him.
If you feel it, but if you really feel it, he'll bring you to actions. In other words, there's a kasha. If you really felt it, why didn't it bring you to actions? Chavetz Chaim slept on the floor during World War I. He said so many yidden are gerucht from their houses. They can't sleep on a bed. I should sleep on a bed. How did it help them? It was nice and oil. He felt their pain. Yidden are in pain. I'm feeling their pain. It's going to project you to things. It's going to make you down for them. It's going to make you see however you could to help them. Because if you really feel it, that's what you're going to do. But the aleph, and once we see this idea of this pasuk in Mishpatim, we turn it not just from Avterach Kamaycha, but it's also Alachta B'Drachav. Daki Hashem, Alachta B'Drachav. Kadosh Baruch Hu hasn't had in front of him, Livna Sasapir. Etz Hashem, Etz Hashem Latayar. Why is he having in front of him? He's nice to boil with Klal Yisrael. That's why I said this is such an important topic tonight. This is the mamish shorish hashorashim being a yid.
Hasidic insights.
Shorish hashorashim of being a yid. Nice one, Chaver. Everybody say good to nationals.
Good, yeah.
Sponsored, today's Seilman is sponsored by Moshe Weinberg, Ila Nishmas' mother, Rebbetzin Phyllis Weinberg, and it's an appropriate topic. She certainly had the idea of empathy with others. She put her whole life about Shmir Saloshin, and she made it her life really to do that. It's very appropriate, and we'll welcome Rabbi Rudner back to Tzeh Ulmad. Hasn't been here in a while, but he made a chassan in between, right? So we're nice about with Simcha too. Who is it? Who's the one who's from Philly? Said to be nicer with the Simcha also. No. Simcha, he said only if seeing atzvus, but if a person.
That's a mashmer mataya.
Okay.
Next time you bring him a full bottle of soda.
You'll get a Pepsi, we'll know. Thank you.
So there's leftover. There's leftover Dr. Pepper. I said there's leftover.
Very nice.
Must have been enough.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We have a name of the shir, by the way, Simchas by you. That's what I'm calling it. Great story.
Great line.
Do it a base level, right? That's
Well, not to do, should I add that at the video? No, you enjoyed it? Yechanan. Yechanan was our only observer? Yeah, somebody else was. I don't know why I can't hear you. You can't hear him. No. Yechanan, was it good? Unmute.
Yeah.
Let's see him. Yeah, put it back in. We'll cook it for tomorrow.
Could you call him back to the screen?
What do you mean? You wanna speak to him?
Yeah, just for a sec.
Come, it's Yochanan Buchsbaum. Let me see him right here. Come see him. It's in front of the.
Good, even though it's not so ice.
He's coming. You can see him right here.
Yeah, I see him.
Yeah, he's coming right here.
How are you?
Baruch Hashem, how are you? I have to tell you, I almost got your father-in-law and your daughter to come to the shir tonight.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I met your I'm in Hollywood, Florida, and I see your father-in-law every day at the kollel there.
Oh wow!
I got to know Mishnikol.
Oh, wow.
I enjoyed the shir.
Uncle Lev.
Thank you so much.
Wow.
Glad.
Yeah. But he's in Eretz Yisrael, so he probably didn't tune in because it's 5 o'clock in the morning there.
That's right. Thank you. Send regards if you see him when he comes back.
Okay, when's he coming back?
I think in a week and a half, maybe, or something like
Yeah,
that.
I'll be here. I will.
Hatzlacha Rava. Take care.
Okay.
Thank you.
What's the name of the one that gave the shir?
Rabbi Rudner, Avrohom Rudner. He used to be a member here in Toronto for many years. He moved to Muncie. It's Yankel Lev. His name's Yankel Lev. Yeah, he's been here a couple times, Yankel. Shkoyach, thank you very much, Reb Avrom.
Very nice. A wonderful. He spoke about a wonderful topic.
Yeah, brought out very well.
Yeah,
Okay.
we had a
Sorry,
business,
Akiva.
we had a business just now. I don't know what was going on. We have a shul across the road, and something must have happened. The cars were jam-packed and they broken down, and there's a knock on the door. 2 young girls. They asked me. She said, "Can I use your toilet?" It was cold outside and everything. She needed to use the toilet. So of course I brought her inside, and it was.
What happened outside with the cars?
I don't know. There was
Like an accident?
By the way,
I don't know what happened with the cars. There were all the roads were blocked, and people couldn't get out, but she was caught there, and it was cold outside, and she knocked on the door.
Okay. So you helped somebody. Nice to boil, yeah. She needed the bathroom, nice to boil.
I had to make sure that I asked her what day of the week it is, because I wasn't sure if it was Shabbos or not.
Hey, Uncle. Good to see you, Uncle.
Good to see you too.
Okay. You're still part of the. Okay.
No, because the tablet was still left on from the Shia tonight.
yeah, good.